Alright, welcome back everyone. My name is Pratesh here with Kaizen Crypto, bringing you guys another video. So guys, I hope you all are doing well, that you're having a great day. Today is going to be an exciting video. So we're going to be taking a look at part 2 of putting together the Cardano on the Rock stake pool kit. So if you guys haven't already checked out part 1 as part of the unboxing, go ahead and check that out. This is going to be the second video in the series talking about how to put it all together. So it's going to be a step-by-step tutorial. Guys, if you do have any questions, go ahead and drop the questions that you have in the comments section down below. I'm going to do my best to help you guys out as best I can and hope you guys find some value from this video today. So let's get started. All right, you guys, to start things off, the first thing that we're going to have to do as far as putting this project together, as you can see, I've got all the different components laid out on a desk here. Just wanted to give you guys a few things to keep in mind before we get started. First off, you'll be needing a couple tools in order to get started. The kit, when you purchase it from the website, does come with pretty much everything that you will need. Just a couple things though. What we'll have to do is we'll have to flash the eMMC card, and there is an adapter with that, so you'll have the eMMC module adapter. But you're going to need something to connect it to your computer. Now, you can use either an SD card reader, or if you have one of these right here, this is a USB to SD card reader. So you're going to need something like that. Very inexpensive. You can find them online. And most cameras, come with the SD card reader. So you're going to need that. And then you're also going to need some type of screwdriver. In this case, I've just got a standard Phillips head screwdriver. So this is going to be what we're using for this build today. There is also a small little screwdriver that comes with the kit, which is very nice because we're going to be working with some smaller screws. So this will actually come with the kit. So it's very nice that this comes included. So you're going to have that as well. Another thing I did want to mention to you guys, for those of you who are getting involved with tech and want to get this project started, just basic precautionary rule of thumb is whenever we're working with components like this, hardware related components, one thing that we always try and be careful of is electrostatic discharge. And what that is if have you ever been like shocked, right? When you take a towel out of the dryer or something like that, that's static electricity. And we want to make sure that we're taking precautions to avoid any type of electrostatic discharge. So just a quick little tip, make sure if you guys can do this on a flat wood surface, or as far as where you're standing, make sure you're not on carpeted areas. Just a little tip for you guys. If you're able to stay on hardwood floors, that's going to make sure that you can stay grounded and that you don't have to worry about electrostatic discharge. But anyway, just a quick little tip. I just want to mention that to you guys. So what we're going to be doing here first is we're going to be taking our little USB adapter, and we're going to be using this module adapter. This is the eMMC module adapter and the eMMC chip. What I did was I went ahead and installed this eMMC chip onto this adapter. You're going to see how it's supposed to be installed. There's a little cutout visual, so it's very easy to determine how you're supposed to lay the module on top of the adapter. Once you have that configured, what we're going to need to do is insert it into our card reader. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. Very gently, guys. We want to make sure that we're not forcing any of these components throughout the entire build. These are very delicate hardware components. So if it doesn't fit right away, just try and adjust the position a little bit and it should work for you. So once we have this inserted, we're going to be connecting this into our computer. I'm actually going to be jumping onto the desktop here in just a moment just to show you guys how you can go about flashing this. All right, so let's take a look. So we're taking a look here at the desktop. I've got pulled up the website that we're going to be using as a resource to follow along as we go through the process of building this project. I'm going to be linking to this website in the description as well. So if you guys want to check it out when you're going through the process of building your own stake pool, I would definitely recommend it. It's a very valuable resource, and it's nice to be able to reference this as you're going through the process. But what we have here is the step that we flash the image. So after we've gone through the process, like I showed you, of connecting the eMMC module to the SD card reader, we're going to go ahead and connect that to our computer. And the next thing for us to do is to download the Cardano on the Rocks disk image. So this disk image has been designed specifically for this project. So it's very convenient that it's all located here on the website. Once you click on download, you'll be able to see this on your desktop. And the software that I would recommend using to be able to flash the eMMC module is going to be Balena Etcher. Balena Etcher is very easy to use. It's seamless. I'm going to link to that in the description as well. The link is also on the web page. So once you've downloaded Balena Etcher for your particular operating system, what you want to do is open up the program, and then it's going to give you the option to select the image that you're going to be flashing. In this case, it's going to be the image that we had downloaded. Now guys, keep in mind it is going to be downloaded as a zip file. Balena Etcher makes it very convenient. It'll actually uncompress that file for you when you go through the process of flashing the module. And then it's going to give you the option to select the drive. So go ahead and select the eMMC module and go ahead and click flash. It should take a couple minutes. It's not a very long process, and it should say finished after that. Once it's finished, you can go ahead and eject it, and you've successfully flashed the eMMC module. Alright you guys, so let's go ahead and take a look back at the desk here, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to put this all together. Alright, let's take a look. Okay, so guys, once you have gone through the process of flashing the eMMC adapter, the next thing for us to do is going to be to mount the heatsink. So all the hardware components come with this kit, so it's very straightforward. It's just a matter of figuring out what goes where. So this is the heatsink, right? So what we're going to do, so I'm going to lay this down flat, and we need to look for these screws right here. So these come with the heatsink. Let me just show you what they look like. So they're going to be these little screws right here. All right, so you're going to want to take those, and the heatsink is going to be laid up flat like this. Okay, so you want this end facing up, and there's going to be two holes right here, 1 and 2. So we're going to be screwing these two right in there like so. So guys, bear with me here as I go through that. I'm going to be doing my best of talking along as I go through this build. I know that, you know, there is a not a website, but there is a video on YouTube going over how to do this, but the one thing I don't like is that there's this really cheesy just background music as they're going through the process, and it's like it would be very helpful to have somebody actually talking about how to do it as they go through the process. So that's what I intend to do with this video. So I hope you guys will please be patient with me as I go through this with you. It is definitely a learning process for me as well. So, but yep, okay, so we've got those two screwed in. All right, make sure that they're nice and snug. You don't have to really like torque them down, but you just want to make sure that they're hand tight. Want to make sure that they're not going to go anywhere. If you guys do have the tools to kind of ratchet that down, go ahead and do that. I've just got a little plier right here. I'm just going to, you know, put a little bit extra torque in there just to make sure that they're down in there pretty tight. All right, don't want to over tighten it. All right, so that should be good for that. Okay, so guys, the next thing that we're going to be taking a look at here, we're going to need to mount the eMMC module onto our Raspberry Pi board. So what we've got here, now that we've went ahead and flashed the image, we'll be able to go ahead and remove the eMMC module. So you want to very gently do this. Okay, let's see how best way to do this. Let's go ahead and pop that off. Okay, nice and easy. I like to, just as a rule of thumb, just kind of handle these components from the edges. It's always a good idea to, you know, to put as little fingerprint, you know, you got oils on your fingers, just try and keep your hands dry. What you guys can see here, I'm just using my t-shirt, just like a, you know, nice little t-shirt, just to keep my hands dry. And so this is the Raspberry Pi 4 board. All right, very nice. I really like this board. It's pretty cool. This is actually the first Raspberry Pi 4 that I've got a chance to handle. And you know, most notably, the biggest thing here is that this one has the USB-C for the power adapter. but you know, very similar to your standard Raspberry Pi board. So what we're going to do next is we're going to install the eMMC module onto the Raspberry Pi. So this little chip right here, this is going to have that version of the software that we had flashed on it, as you guys can see that right there. And what we want to pay attention for, so we're going to install this on the back of the board. I'm going to see if I can hold this up to the camera just so you guys can get a good idea of what we're looking at here. So you can see here there's a little cutout of where we're going to be aligning this chip, right? So that right there, so those two prongs, we're going to be, so one right there, yep, and one right there. We're going to be using that to connect the eMMC module. So guys, when installing the eMMC module, what you want to look for is this little cutout right here. I'm not sure if you guys can see that very well, but you see how there's a little bit of a kind of like a notch here on this corner here. So the notch on that corner is going to go align with the edge, this little dot. See that little dot right there? So what we want to do is position it like that. So I'm going to lay this flat, and as far as positioning it, so it's going to snap into place. Just want to gently go over there, and we're just going to position that. And you guys should feel it click. That is in. Awesome. Okay, I'm just going to wipe my board up a little bit here. Okay, so now that we have that completed, what we'll have to do now is go ahead and install this adapter here. This is going to be for the M2 extended board. So let's take a look at that. So guys, as far as fixing the M2 extended board adapter, so we have our rockpi board right here. So what I like to do, I'm going to flip it over, and as far as affixing it, so it comes with the hardware. And what we'll need to do is place this on top of the back. And there's going to be this right here, this black adapter, that's actually going to fit this right here. So this right here, this end, this is going to connect like this here. Yep, so you just want to insert that. Okay, and you'll hear it click into place. Guys, once that has been inserted, the hardware components to be able to connect it are going to be inside of the kit. And what we're going to use are going to be these prongs here with the long ends, right? So you're going to have those long ends. Now, as far as how you're going to install it, so it's actually going to go from the bottom up. Right, in this case, if we have it sitting upside down, so as far as putting this inside here, so you have the board, this is actually upside down, and then this right here will go from the top up through the bottom. Yep, so we got that connected. Okay, yep, so that's one, and we're going to do the other one here. All right, you guys, awesome. So that's that. Let's set that down. Okay, so after we've done that, the next thing for us to do is going to be to fix the ribbon cable. So the ribbon cable is going to come in the same compartment here. It's actually going to come in one of these electrostatic bags. So we're going to open that up. Okay, and very gently just go ahead and remove that. Okay, so here is the ribbon cable. So we've got that. All right, and as far as how we're going to be affixing this, so the blue end is going to be what connects into the board. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. As far as, you know, whether it's facing up or not, so this is going to be the bottom, and this is going to be facing up. Okay, so you can see, well, it's kind of hard. Let's do it like this. There you go. So you can see the writing on the ribbon. So that's going to be right side up, and then the blank side, that's going to be the bottom. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. It looks like it's come with 2 ribbons. I didn't realize that. So there's actually an extra one just in case. That's pretty cool. It's nice that they did that. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's take a look. So we've got the writing. We've got the writing on the top. And what we're going to do is go ahead and just gently insert that. There is actually this little black notch. I'm not sure if you can see that right at the very top, this black notch. What you want to do is see if you can gently pull that out. When the black notch is out, you'll be able to more easily insert the ribbon. So let's give this a shot here. Okay, so we've got that. I've installed my ribbon. And then what we're going to do, if we can, and it's a little tricky, I'm going to push that black notch down. Yep. So I pushed it up. Okay. Trying to do this all on the camera here, and then we're going to push it down. There we go. Okay. So ribbon has been successfully installed. Okay, so next step, after we have installed the ribbon, we can go ahead and start with putting on the heatsink. So what we're going to do first, let's go ahead and use some of this thermal conductive paste that they've provided, and we can go ahead and just put a little dab of that on the CPU. So it doesn't have to be a whole lot. You guys just want to make sure that it's kind of like a dime size. Try and focus it more on the center. Let's see if I can show you guys here. Yep, and this paste is going to dissipate. You don't want to be like too globby. Yeah, see, like that might be a little bit too globby. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Let me see if I can scrape up a little bit. Awesome, there we go. That should be fine. Okay, so now that we've put on a little bit of the thermal conductive paste, let's go ahead and take a look at how we can install the heatsink. So what we'll need to do from here, so we've got these little nuts. You guys can see those. Yep, mine are gold colored. And we're gonna put those where we had those prongs sticking out. So I've got my board, it's still upside down, and we're gonna see about installing those on those little prongs. Okay, so now that we have these 2 nuts screwed in on the Raspberry Pi board, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our heatsink, and what's going to happen is that's going to fit on top of our Raspberry Pi 4 board. So let's take a look at that here. So I'm going to grab that. Okay, and as far as how this is going to sit, so these 2 nuts right here on each corner, you're going to see that there's an opening right here on the board. And another easy way to tell is that there's actually a cutout for the CPU. So it's going to align just like that. So let me see if I can do this here. Just going to place this down very gently. Okay, so we got that. And now what we'll need to do is see if we can screw these bottom pegs to attach that to the heatsink. Okay, so guys, it took me a few tries, but I managed to get the heatsink on. So, yep, it might just take a little bit of wiggling. You just got to make sure that the threads line up with the heatsink. So be patient. You know, it can take a little bit of time. And you can even see here, like, yeah, it just came loose. So let me see if I can go through this again while you guys are watching. So I'm just going to tighten this in there. If it's helpful for you to turn it upside down, you know, do that. Whatever is going to work best for you. But once it's secured, yep, so that's in there. I just want to make sure those are nice and snug. All right, so the next thing that we'll need to do after the heatsink is on, we can just go ahead and set that down like that. So what we'll need to do now is take these 2 prongs. Now, easy way to tell with these, so these have a short little threaded end right here. So we got 2 of those. We're going to be needing to put those. We've got the Raspberry Pi 4, or the rockpi 4 board right over here. Got one hole right there and another hole right there. So that's where those are going to go. Okay, so you just want to make sure that's set down flat, and we're just going to go screw those down there. Those are both nice and snug. You just want to check to make sure that those are threaded. And guys, as far as what this should look like at this point in time, so this is what we've got. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. You got the heatsink on, got the rockpi board ready to go. Okay, so let's take a look at the next step. But once you do that, what you want to do, so you want to take the M2 extended board, so that's this here. There's that black flap that we saw. What we'll do is just lift that up there, and we'll use that to install the other end of this ribbon. Okay, very gently. Just want to make sure that that's seated as far back as that can go, and then just press that black piece down. And now your ribbon is installed with the M2 extended board. Okay, so following that, this part is going to be a little tricky. I'm going to see if I can do my best to show you guys here on the camera exactly how this is going to look. A little bit tricky. So what you want to do, as far as how I like to look at it, the black cables will go with the black dots on the board. So when you take a look, it's, you can see the different colors. See if I can hold this up to the camera for you. Okay, so you guys see the blue, the light blue, that is going to be where the first pin will start. Let me see if I can point that out here. So what we're looking at, I've got my screwdriver here. This light blue right here. It's kind of hard to see from where you guys are at, but that is going to be where we're going to be starting as far as positioning this cable. Now, the green and the yellow on this end, green and yellow, that's going to plug into where we see the blue. And you guys just want to check to make sure that the black cables are matching with the black dots. Okay. Yep, so black goes with black. Easy way to remember it. Okay, and I'm just double checking to make sure I've got everything correct. Just want to make sure it's lined up. Okay. So that's in, and let's just double check to make sure that it's in correctly. Yep, that's in as far as it's going to go. Just going to push that down just a little bit further. Okay, nice. All right, you guys, so cable has been successfully installed. What we need to do now, let's go ahead and flip this board over. Let me see if I can position this where you guys can easily see it. So we're going to get these cables out of the way here. I'm going to flip this board over, and you guys can see where these holes are going to line up. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our hardware, and we're going to use that to close up this little gap right here that we see. Okay, now the hardware is going to come in this little baggie. Okay, and it's going to look like this here. So that one, you can see it's got a little prong on it right that. So we should have 4 of those. Let's double check. Yep, so we got 4 of those. And each one is going to go on one of these little prongs here. So you just got to line it up. That's one. That's 2. It's going to be 3. And guys, as far as tightening these, so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and find the thread and hand tighten. And then after that point, once you've made sure that the hardware is correctly threaded, you want to make sure that they're in the threads. I'm just going to be using my little plier here. You guys can use whatever tool that you have. This is going to be working best for me. And just to the point where you can feel that it's snug. You don't want to over tighten any of this, guys. It's really not necessary. These aren't moving parts. So you just want to make sure that they're snug. Okay, and once they're snug, you should be all set. Okay, so the next step, what we're going to do here is we're going to install our SSD. So this is the one that came with mine. This was purchased with the advanced kit. This is a pretty nice looking SSD right here. So as far as how it's going to fit, we've got this little notch here on the M2 extended board, and this piece right here for the SSD. So that's simply going to fit like so. Just for a moment, and let me see if I can push this in. There we go. Okay, so the SSD has snapped into place. Let's see if I can put this cover back on, and just like that. Okay, now guys, what we're going to do in order to put this, because it's going to stick up like that, I'm not sure if you guys can see that there's a little gap right there. So I've got the cover back on it. I'm actually going to use our handy dandy little screwdriver here, the big cap screw. Let me show you. You want to use one of these big cap screws. Okay, so that's what we're going to use to go ahead and mount that so that it's not sticking up like that. Guys, I really do hope that you are finding some value from this video. As you guys can see, this is definitely a learning experience for me as well. I wanted to bring you guys along because I know that there's a lot of people in the community who are interested in building something like this. So I feel like this is a great way for me to, give back and, give you guys some thoughts regarding my experience with putting all this together. And if you guys do find some value, definitely be sure to just drop a like for me. It really does help support the channel. It's a small thing that you guys can do. And if you guys are enjoying this type of content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I really do want to keep you guys informed and up to date with Cardano related content. So yeah, I'm sure you guys will love the videos that I'm going to be putting out here for you guys. Bear with me here. Yep, we're just trying to get this lined up. There we go. Just got to find those threads. Okay, I believe that's it. So after we have affixed our SSD like so, what we'll need to do now is go ahead and install our diffuser. So this piece right here, as well as the 3D printed case, we went ahead and 3D printed ourselves. If you guys are in need of these 3D prints, go ahead and let me know down in the comments section. The best way to get in touch with me regarding that is going to be my Twitter. You can send me a DM over on Twitter at KaizenCrypto. Yeah, I definitely would be willing to help you guys out. Just go ahead and send me a message if you're needing these 3D prints. So as far as what we're going to be using to affix this to the board, we've got a couple screws, and I'll show you how to do this here in just a moment. So we've got two different size screws. I know it's kind of tough to see. I'm going to see if I can zoom in. So this is the longer one, and this one is the one in front is a shorter one. So we're going to use the longer one to use that when we're fixing the leg of the diffuser right here. So this right here. So the longer screw is going to go there, and the shorter one is going to go on the opposite side. So what I'll do first, we'll take the shorter screw. And guys, as far as how I have the configuration right now, so I've got it oriented like this where the cables are towards me. Just a little bit easier to work with. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the shorter screw, and that's going to screw in here up at the top. Just go ahead and screw that in there. Okay. All right. And then the longer screw, we're going to use that to connect the diffuser. Okay. And as far as how the diffuser is oriented, so we've got the flat part on top, and then the leg is going to sit down just like this here. Okay, so let me see. This was a little bit tricky. I tried to do this. I'm going to see if it would be better to have the screw, because this is a 3D print. It's like, there we go. So I've got the screw inside of the diffuser right now. Let me see if that makes it any easier. So I'm going to set the diffuser down. And okay, so we've found the threads. Okay, that was actually a lot easier. So yeah, there you go, guys. Just a quick tip. As far as fiddling around with these small screws, it might be easier to put the screw inside of the diffuser first and put that on top of where you're screwing it. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's take a look at the next step. After we have installed our diffuser, what we'll do next is we'll take a look at the LED and the display module. So here I have the LED. I'm going to go ahead and take that out of the bag. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to connect these to these cables here. So easy way to be able to tell which set of cables that you're going to connect to. The cable with the yellow wire is going to plug into the display, and the cable without the yellow wire is going to plug into this LED. So here is the LED. I'm going to see if I can hold this up to the camera just to show you guys. With the LED, let me see if I can get really up close there. Let's see how well we do. Guys, sorry, we're a little bit out of focus here. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys are able to read the little letters on it. Sorry, we're definitely out of focus here. But okay, so you have R, G, B, and G and D, okay? So as far as how we're going to be aligning that, so it's just color coded. So R is red, G is green, B is blue, okay, and G and D is black. All right. So we're going to connect it like so. See, I've got that. This is the set of cables without the yellow wire. Okay, and that'll just push right in like that. All right. Okay, so that is the LED module. Next up, what we have is the display. All right, so this is the display. Very nice. Now what we have on the back of this here, so we have these 4 pins, and on the front of the display, we can see some lettering. Let me see here. Guys, you just bear with me with the camera here. I'm going to do my best to show you. But there's going to be lettering on the display module. You're looking for G and D. So G and D is going to match with black, just like with the other one with the LED. So G and D and black are going to go together with the display. All right, so I'm going to do this here. I'm going to flip this over. So G and D goes with black. Got it. Okay, so that goes in here like that. Gonna push that down in there very gently. Guys, these pins are a little bit flimsy. So, you just want to kind of wiggle it if you have to. Okay, there we go. So now that we've got our display and our LED module connected, what we would need to do now is go ahead and insert the LED into our diffuser. And how we're going to do that, let me see if I can position this so it's a little bit easier to see. All right, so what we're looking at here, we've got the LED and the display. As far as how we're going to do this, so with these cables here, we're just going to kind of twirl this around the diffuser. So this is going right behind it, and there's going to be a little hole right here on the diffuser. That LED should pop right into that hole there. And again, guys, you don't want to really force it. You just want to make sure that it's kind of positioned in there so that the LED will go through it. There we go. And if you do have to, just kind of squeeze it in there, yep, just so it stays flush. There you go. Okay, so we've got the LED inside of the diffuser. Let's go ahead and take a look at the display. Okay, guys, so for the display, what we're going to do, so we have it connected here with the cable. Now, the display is actually going to connect directly on top of the 3D printed case. So there are a few holes in here. That's where we're going to be screwing in the case. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to gently disconnect the display from this cable here just for a moment. It's actually a little bit easier to go ahead and connect the display to the 3D printed case, and then from there go ahead and connect to the cable. So for this, let's see here, there's a little protective film on top of that. It's up to you if you want to remove it. I'm going to go ahead and remove it just so the installation is a little bit easier. And as far as how you place it inside of the 3D printed case, so you want to align it with the little holes that are inside there. And then what you do, you just kind of drop it down in there. Now these pins, I like to look at it like this. So the pins are going to be closer to the Cardano logo. See, there's a logo right there, and here are the pins. All right, and then we should be able to flip this over. Let's see how it looks from the top. Okay, there you go. So that's what it looks like with the display on it. And it's going to be the smaller screws. So the hardware that we're going to be using to install it. So the smaller screws, let me see if I can show you here. So this right here, these guys, these are the small screws. So we're going to use those to affix the display onto the 3D printed case. All right, so I'm going to go through that process. Guys, after that, the build is more or less complete. There's a few final steps, so we're going to be taking a look at that here. So I'm going to go ahead and affix this display to the case, and then we'll take a look at the next step. All right, so guys, here we are. We're at the final step of the Cardano on the Rock stake pool kit. I went ahead and cleaned up my work area a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit easier to just figure out what's going on here. So as far as the final few steps after you have installed the LCD onto the top part of the case, what we're going to need to do, as you guys can see, I've went ahead and slid the bottom panel underneath. You guys will see that there's a groove at the bottom of the rockpi, or the heatsink. So the bottom of the case is going to slide right into that. And there is also some rubber pads that you guys can put onto the bottom. I really recommend it because it allows a little bit of space from the bottom. So, you know, just a little bit extra airflow there. But yeah, after we've done that, the last thing for us to do is to go ahead and put it all together. So what I would like to do first in this case is go ahead and get the power cable and get that connected. Okay, so I've got the power cable here. This is the one that comes with the kit. And we've got two ends. We've got the USB-C and the standard USB. The USB-C is what we're going to plug onto the unit. So we're just going to go ahead and connect it. And the reason for connecting the power cable first is because we're going to be closing this stake pool node with a couple screws that we're going to put on the top here. So just having that power cable connected is just going to make things a little bit easier. So once I have that connected like so, next thing for us to do is to connect the top onto the bottom. So we've got to go ahead and connect the display cable before we do that. Now, if you're holding the top part like this here, you've got the Cardano logo on the top like that and the display. So we've got the 4 pins here at the top of the LCD display, and we're going to be connecting this cable. This is the one with the yellow wire to the display. And as far as how the cables are going to be arranged, so you're going to look for the red cable. Easy way that I like to remember it, red goes on the right. Okay, so red goes on the right. The black one should be right next to the red cable, so that's how you know it's being inserted correctly. So that's what I'm going to do here. I've got the display cable, and that's going to connect right into the pins up here, right up at the top. So I'm just going to quickly connect that. Guys, if you have made it this far in your stake pool kit build, I just want to say thanks for sticking around. You know, I really do hope that you guys are able to successfully get this built. You know, it's quite a fun project, and I really do hope you enjoyed following along with me. Now, after you've got that connected, as you can see, like we've done so, what we'll need to do, just so that the pins are not sticking out when we close this over, we'll just very gently push these pins down. We're going to actually bend the pins. I'm going to try not to cringe here, because just bending these pins, it's like, oh man. So, okay, yep, just very gently. You don't have to put too much force. I'm just bending the pins right now. Okay, just like so. So I've actually used a little bit of force to just bend them very slightly. I actually had a screw pop out. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here. I'm going to put that screw back in, and then we're going to go ahead and close this up, and that's a wrap. Okay, so guys, I was running into a bit of an issue here when trying to install the top. So I went ahead and put the cable onto the top piece here. And when I went to go to put this over to kind of close the enclosure, I was having an issue where this diffuser up at the top was a little bit too high. So it wasn't able to close when I would set this top part on top of it. So this is just going to be a quick little side note here. These two little pins, these two gold pins, are actually going to be what's underneath this hole right here for the diffuser, and then there's one on the opposite end here. I went ahead and removed those It's not going to affect anything as far as the performance of the unit, but what it did was it created a little bit too much space, or there was a little bit too much height from the diffuser and the board. So what I did was I went ahead and removed both of those pieces on both sides. I kept the two up front here. You're going to need both of those to connect the top piece once you screw them from the top. But I went ahead and removed those two gold pieces from the back. I used the screw that came with it to connect the diffuser, so that worked pretty well. So as you guys can see, it's connected again, and I was able to successfully install it after that. So that's just a quick little side note. If you guys are having some trouble connecting it, try that. That's what worked for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through the process now of connecting this top piece here. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna gently lower it over here. Now you wanna make sure that the cables are not gonna be in the way of these two gold nuts. And the reason is because we're gonna have to screw those black screws using those. And as you guys can see, it fits right into place now. So that was what I was experiencing. So if you guys do run into a similar issue, go ahead and try that and see if that works for you. So now that we've got the top piece fixed on top, let's see if we can take these black screws. So we've got two of these. These are the longest screws that came with the kit, and we're going to be using those to screw the top piece down. So I'm going to do that with you guys. And that is going to be, that's pretty much it for this build. You know, it's definitely been a process. Now, if you guys feel like there's something that you did a little bit differently to help you configure your unit, please be sure to drop a comment down in the section below. I would love to hear from you guys. Any suggestions on how you can make this experience as easy as possible is definitely appreciated. Again, guys, I do appreciate all the support. Please be sure to drop a like for me if you did find some value from this video. And if you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I want to keep you guys updated and informed about everything related to Cardano and staking on the main net here coming up very shortly. So lots of exciting things to come here in the near future. So guys, that is pretty much it for this Cardano on the Rock stake pool kit. I really do appreciate you watching, and until the next video, take care.